And then I picked up Dispatch on the Switch too. I had pre-ordered the night before it came out, so I can get like that discount or like
Like the
10%
10%,
discount.
yeah.
I already knew I was gonna buy it anyways. And then the next day it came out that it was censored for whatever reason. Like I feel like the developer and Nintendo were kind of going back and forth and like, no, we didn't really censor it, but there's some censorship. Like I guess they didn't create like Japan has the censorship and
Right.
they didn't do separate versions of it. They just did one version, I
It
guess.
sounded like miscommunication almost.
Yeah. That being said, like I mean, yes, it is very like lazy. It's just like a literal black bar like over like the dude's dong and like one of the first fights you do. And there's like a sex scene that gets blurred out. And like one time they had like one of the characters flips off another character and they censor that out. But then another time they like in a different episode, she flips someone off and they don't censor it out. So it's very, I don't know, it
It's
feels very
inconsistent.
lazy and kind of and just dumb overall. That being said, it didn't take away from my experience. Yeah, I think censorship is silly, especially when like we have stuff like Cyberpunk that's on
Cyberpunk,
the
yeah.
Switch too, where there's like full on like you know,
Like, there's a dong slider.
yeah, there's a dong slider and yeah, there's yeah, lots of sex scenes and stuff like that. So a little bit strange when you have stuff like that in comparison, but that being said, maybe I will wait until they fix the censorship stuff and then replay it again because there's a ton of replayability and it, I just want to see some dongs, but it is funny because like the first fight, like the guy's flying around and it's just the black bar. It's so it's you just stare
It
at the
almost adds
entire.
to the experience.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But it doesn't take away from the experience.
Okay.
That being said, that censorship stuff aside, this is probably the best version of like the Telltale, like classic Telltale experience.
Okay.
Like just having all the episodes out at once, which I think that's did it originally. I think it was like a week apart, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was a week. I think they
Um,
did, like, the first 2 or 3 episodes at once, and then, yeah, episodic from there.
yeah. And then the Switch 2 version, they just it's all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably the best that this type of game has ever been. Because look, at the end of the day, I don't need to walk around the environment like in the Telltale games and hit Y on a picture and get like a little monologue of the character. I just don't need that stuff. I'd rather just get to the stuff, get to the choices, get to the scene. So it's pretty much like watching like an anime, and then there is like quick time events like in the fighting. You can turn that stuff off if you don't want to deal with it. I kept it
Mhm.
on just to kind of like add to the experience, but it's very very quick quick time stuff. Um, and then the dispatching itself. So like the story is you play as a hero that does not have superhero abilities. He controls like this mech and uses that, and something happens and he can no longer use the mech and it's got to get fixed. And then he
Okay.
gets contacted by this agency that dispatches superheroes to calls that there's a fire or there's a robbery or something like that.
It's pretty funny.
And he gets assigned to this group of misfits, these ex villains. They're called Team Z, and each character has like their own statistic. Like one's good at defending, one's good at
Mhm.
attacking, one's super smart, one can talk their way out of stuff, stuff like that. So when you get a call, it'll tell you like, hey, you need to go defend this couple from this robber or something like that. So like, oh, you should send out the character that has the defense.
Yeah.
But in a case where, let's say you already sent that character out, then you have other characters that you'll have to put in their place. And sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it doesn't. And you can send more, depending on the call, like you can send more than one character at a time. So you might have like each, there's like uh, I don't know, like a statistical circle, and like that, there's 10 strength, 10 defense, whatever.
Mhm.
And depending on like if it calls for 7 strength and you send 2 characters with 4 strength, it'll match it.
Yeah.
Um, so the actual dispatching itself is a lot of fun, and it takes about maybe 10-15 minutes, during that, depending on the time of the day. And you do it each episode, I think, has 2, so you do like the morning shift, and then they have like their lunch break, and there'll be like some story interactions, and then you do like the nighttime dispatching. The actual dispatching itself is a lot of fun, and then there's like hacking and stuff too, which I think this is probably the most fun hacking mini game in a game that I played. Like you're
Wow.
on like this grid and you just control this little sphere and you move it point to point, and then you might have to um unlock a code, and like it's a up down left right kind of thing, to unlock like the next sector, and some will only have two, and then you have to
Mhm.
find the other one with the other half of it and then combine them together. You're like, oh, this is up left right, and then go on, and then at some point, like towards the latter episodes, there will be like antiviruses in there that'll try to stop you, which is cool. So overall, this game is awesome. The story is incredible. Yeah, it's heartfelt. Yeah, man, it's so good.
Does the dispatching itself affect the story? Like, does that lead to additional dialogue or like additional scenes or anything, or is it just separate from how the story progresses?
From what I saw, I don't think it really does.
Okay.
Because there you get some pretty significant choices like in the game, but I don't think that it.
Like, it's not like dynamic
Yeah,
in that
there's
regard.
like there's a part in the game in the story, where you have to cut like a member. And from what I saw, there's only like maybe three that could have potentially be cut, but the shift that you do in that before, like at the end of the shift, you're supposed to cut somebody. During that shift, the because they're ex villains, they don't really give a shit. They will like you'll send two villains off to a call, and then one of them will attack the other one and cause them to get hurt or something like that, so they can't do it, and then the other person triumphs and does the call and gets like the credit. So there's a lot of stuff like that. That's really funny, and the game's hilarious too. And there's like some unique characters too. Like there's like a speedster character, that finds out like obviously he can run super fast, but it drastically cut his life expectancy
Oh
to
my
like,
god.
so he's like 40 years old, but he looks like he's 80 in the game. He's hilarious too. So lot of like really unique kind of characters. I know we're all kind of tired of superhero kind of stuff right now, but
Sounds
I
fun
think
though.
yeah, I think this is definitely a must play.
All
It's
right,
absolutely
I'll have to pick
incredible.
this one up.
Yeah.
I might wait for the censorship stuff to be
Yeah,
resolved.
and that's something I think you and Alicia like, because you could pause the game during the choice, because it's like a Telltale game where
Yeah.
someone will say something to you and I'll they'll remember that, or they didn't like that, or they noticed that, and that can kind of play up into the story as well. Um, so yeah, I think Alicia would have a good time playing that
Yeah, it sounds
alongside
fun.
you. Yeah, so super fun game, definitely worth it. I think it's like $30.
Okay.
It took me about 4 to 5 hours, but I definitely want to replay it at some point, to see the alternate endings and stuff like that. So hopefully
Nice.
there's a season two. I imagine there probably will be. I think this game did pretty well and reviewed excellently as well. So